What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Trek Epidemic Patreon over on the Movie Epidemic Patreon. Hope you're enjoying the Trek episodes. I'm enjoying watching the shows, so I hope you're enjoying listening to us babble on about it. We're like data, we babble on. We've got our good friend Jordan Hardner here. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
Absolutely great. I'm drinking a smoothie here, talking about some Star Trek. We also have my good friend Kreyg. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me back again.
Absolutely. This is a four-peat we've got going on here. This is crazy.
Hell yeah.
How many weeks is he going to come back? Who knows?
I love me some Star Trek The Next Generation. So
Our resident Star Trek expert. This is a little episode that debuted on November 16th, 1987, called The Battle. And don't worry, guys, Picard does have headaches in this one.
yeah, apparently
Nonstop.
ibuprofen and Tylenol don't exist in the future anymore.
It does
Well, they
not.
said that like headaches don't happen anymore. You don't even get common colds because they mapped the brain and figured everything
they
out.
mapped the brain and figured out how like it all works. So it's like headaches. Like Crusher was like really deeply concerned. She's like, "Wait, you have a headache? What the fuck, dude? We haven't had those in like decades, hundreds of years. Doesn't matter."
It's like the weirdest juxtaposition too, because Picard's treating them like they're no big deal and they're an everyday occurrence. But clearly that's not the case in universe. Like Picard's reacting like if you got a headache today, but she as a doctor is reacting like this is insane and it shouldn't be happening and something's severely wrong. And Picard's like, no, it's just a headache. But you'd think Picard would be, if he grew up in a world without headaches, would be also a bit more concerned.
Yeah, he'd be
but
more
whatever.
concerned. But the best was like at one point, like he snaps on her. He's like, "Why do doctors always state the obvious?" And then she's like, "Why do captains always think they're immortal?"
Extremely good content. I like when Picard is snippy.
Yeah, snippy Picard can be pretty good. You know, sometimes you got to realize Picard can actually be a real big asshole.
Yeah,
like he
big
can be an
douchebag.
asshole to people.
Really
Like he's
mean.
like this really cool dude, was like level-headed, but like when he wants to be, he'll be an asshole.
Yeah. So we've got another Ferengi episode, kind of.
I would say it's a solid, fully Ferengi episode.
Yeah, I guess it's not a side quest like a lizard person or something.
Yeah.
This is pretty much a Ferengi episode, and I love when I get to see a Ferengi because they're fucking crazy looking.
They have like butt heads and big ears.
Which in this episode, they actually say at one point, as you humans would say, I'm all ears. And I kind of lost it at that when they got a Ferengi to say that. Oh man, that was way too
First
good.
Officer Kazago, as you humans say, I'm all ears.
Perfect Ferengi voice, love it. And one thing you'll notice is the Ferengis are still mad when they see a clothed female.
Yeah.
Still super mad about that.
They also want to buy data.
Yeah. I love
Hell
how
yeah.
they messed with them for a while. It was just like Picard was all like, we've been trying to hail these guys for like 3 days or something like that. And all they just keep saying is standby Enterprise. It's like, dude, come on, 3 days? Like, really? You couldn't have just like sped up the process a little bit? Especially in a venture where like you learn there was no profit in it. So
Yeah. Damn, that sucks when there's no profit. So the Ferengis request a meeting, and they want to give Picard his old ship back for some reason.
the Stargazer.
What is it? The Stargazer?
The Stargazer, yeah.
Yeah. That's the premise of this episode, and they keep talking about how he's the hero of Maxia. And he's like, "What is that? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what this is."
Yeah, he's like, I've never heard it referred to so dramatically before. The Battle of Maxia.
Yeah, so apparently he was in like some sort of battle with a Ferengi vessel, and he killed, or well, he destroyed a ship or something along those lines.
There's a little
He
fun
pulled
fact.
the Picard maneuver.
That's right.
Yeah.
They call it the
named it
Picard
after
maneuver
him.
because he phased, and he was like in two places at once.
Well, what he did was he had the ship go to maximum warp and then stop immediately. So basically, when it went to warp, it appeared as if it was at two places at once. But the way he described it was like the Ferengi ship then fired on the wrong ship, and then they just unloaded everything on the Ferengi vessel and blew it up. So
Yeah. I knew you would have the technical the technical
yeah,
version.
don't worry,
of that.
I got you on that. So. I also have a fun fact about this episode. Did you know that originally they were gonna, because the starship class of the Stargazer is a Constellation class starship, But originally, that was going to be just a regular old Constitution class starship, and they later changed it. If you go back and you watch the episode when LaForge is on the panel or sitting at his console, and they're like, "It's a Constellation class starship," you see a mouth actually Constitution class starship. So they were just going to like recycle probably like the old Enterprise model. And then, like, they were like, "No, we should just do something different." And even in Picard's ready room, where the Stargazer model is in these first few episodes, it's a Constitution class starship instead.
Wow.
So,
wow, those are the facts that you come to Trek Epidemic for.
dude, little Star Trek fun facts for you right there.
That's that good shit right there. So, the ship isn't actually what it seems. This is a dirty Ferengi trap because they're giving it to him for no profit, and what ends up happening is he has like this weird globe thing that gives people headaches.
Oh yeah, the mind control, like it sends out brain waves or whatever, and like it's like kind of like a form of mind control, and he's got two of them, and he puts one in Picard's chest in his quarters, and then he's got one on his ship. And he's just like sitting there on his ship. He's like, "I'll get you, hero of Maxia." And he's just like moving these things around, like and like fucking with Picard's brain.
So sci-fi. It's the most sci-fi thing possible. It's a fucking red globe with like spinners on it.
Basically. I think it's funny though because the whole time, every time you see Damon Bach with the globe on his ship, like he's not looking at anything but just a bunch of waves on a screen, and it's like you'd think he'd be like wanting to see what Picard's up to just to make sure it's actually working, but he just like trusts, "Oh, this is working, don't worry, it's good here, we're good, no big deal."
Yeah, you think he'd be watching like repeats of Seinfeld or something while he's fucking with Picard's head?
No, but he's just sitting there staring at like a screen with brain waves and stuff on it.
Yeah. So we find out that Picard killed Bach's son in that battle. And this is like a revenge thing, I guess.
And there's no profit in revenge.
There's absolutely no profit in revenge. He's got an illegal headache machine. They keep talking about how it's illegal.
Yeah, it's like, and then at one point, they finally discover, I forgot who it was. I think it was Wesley, actually. It was Wesley. There's Wesley again. He was messing with the sensors. That's how he discovered earlier in the episode that the Stargazer was in range, and then later he's messing with the sensors again, and he's like, "I found out that like there's some waves that look like the brain waves I saw on your thing earlier today, Mom, that are like being transmitted from the Ferengi vessel right now to our ship." And then they're like, "Really?" And then him or Troy and Dr. Crusher just walk out of the room, and he's like leaning up against the wall. He's like, "You're welcome, ladies, adults." Fucking Wesley, man.
I don't think you could have necessarily picked one scene to more encapsulate the fact that Wesley is completely aimed towards children potentially watching the show than that scene. The scoff adults is like the most. Only kids get it. It's so weird. Adults, man.
Fucking a starship for no cost, dude. At no cost? That's unbelievable.
I mean, right then and there, everybody should have known something was up, because even one of the other Ferengi, I think it was the first officer, Kazago, when they gave the ship over, he's like, "We're not charging them for this." And he's like, "Shut the fuck up, bro," right? Like, right then and there, everybody should have known something's not right here. The Ferengi are up to no good because they want profit and everything.
Yes.
So, like, right then and there, nobody picked up on it, and that's why. I mean, then again, we wouldn't have had an episode if they did. So,
but. Yeah, that's true. And then is it Riker that gets on the handset there and is calling over to the first officer?
Yeah, and he's like, "Come on, man, first officer to first officer," and he's like, "I got nothing to say to you, human."
Yes, you human. I forget how this goes. He kind of like convinces him to like take over the ship, and he's like, "We're gonna relieve him of his duty, all right."
Yeah, and then later, after, because it was weird, because at one point Picard wakes up, and he's like goes to his ready room, and like Data and Riker are there, and then Dr. Crusher walks in and wants to talk to them, but then Picard walks in and he's all healthy again. He's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Nothing like a good night's sleep, right, guys?" And then he sits down. He's like, "Everybody get the fuck out of my ready room now." And then later, like, he wants to talk to Riker after that, and then I think it was like after that he releases he fucking scolds Riker. He's like, yeah, let's release the tractor beam that we have on it, and we'll we'll let it just coast with us. He's like, sir, why would we do that? He's like, didn't you take tractor beam energy conservation in the academy, Riker? And he like scoffs at him and like makes him feel like an asshole. And Riker's like, all right, sir, no problem. And then he gives him that look, and then Riker does what he's got to do, and then Picard's like, it was a trick, and beamed over to the Stargazer.
Yeah.
Where he finds Damon Bach with his giant headache ball.
That damn headache ball, that illegal headache machine.
Man, I just realized that in this episode, if he used the mind control machine to make Picard bring the second mind control machine to the ship when he beamed over, the things would have gone very differently.
I love at one point though, like after they discover the one, like they're like, oh shit, maybe there's one on the ship too. They find out there is, and then Geordi's just sitting on the bridge playing with it. Like he has no idea what it does or what's going on. And he's just playing with it. And then they hail the Ferengi ship. And the Ferengis, or no, I think the Ferengi hailed them. It's like, we want no part of what's going on with you guys anymore. You know, because like Picard's over there charging up weapons and shit. They're like, yo, we're getting out of here, man. We don't want a part of your Federation problems anymore.
Yeah, they're like, this is an unprofitable venture. We will not be part of this.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, first officer, he's been removed from duty. Kazago removed Bach from command because engaging in a non-profitable venture.
That's right, yeah.
And then he's like, good luck, Riker, first officer, and then like pieces out.
Yeah, they should have kissed at some point during that.
Yeah.
Dude, first officers always want to kiss each other.
It seems to be that way. But then friggin' Picard is on the Stargazer charging up weapons and like getting ready to do the Picard maneuver.
Right,
and they're like, oh, fuck, the Picard maneuver. And they're like, Data is their defense. He's like, nope. He's like, we'll come up with one quick.
Yeah, he thinks he's in Maxia. So Data's like, let's just use tractor beams or something.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, well, if we tractor beam him, it'll lower his field of fire and we'll be okay. And that's exactly what they do. Could you imagine they have tractor beam the wrong one? He blew up the Enterprise.
I hear that's an alternate ending.
Series over, man. They probably made that episode just in case, like, the show was going to get canceled early on, you know?
Oh, yeah. So they could just end the entire run of all Star Trek shows with the fucking self-destruct. Oh, God.
We'll just save this episode in our back pocket for the season finale here.
But then they tell Picard to blow up the ball, and then boom, everything's good again.
Yeah.
And then Picard's like, let the past stay in the past where it belongs. And then friggin' he gives the line, it's like, oh, Damon Bach was removed from command because revenge was not a profitable venture. Yeah. He's like, it never is. And again, it's like they summed up the whole episode in like a couple sentences at the end. It's like the whole point of the episode was there's no profit in revenge, so don't be vengeful and like seek out revenge on people.
Yeah.
That was like the moral lesson of the episode.
Yeah.
Is that revenge is never profitable.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Depends if you're a hitman or not. It depends what line of work you're in, if you're putting horse heads in people's beds and stuff.
That's true.
If you're like that,
depends on what field of work you're in.
If you're like that guy from Tiger King that tried to whack Carol Baskin, he was getting paid.
Watch that.
All right, why don't you go first, Kreyg? What do you rate this bad boy?
I would give this one 3.5. I thought it was a pretty good episode overall. I mean, it's not one of the best, but it's definitely like watch it. It's worth a watch.
It feels like a Star Trek episode, and
exactly.
You get some Ferengi work in there.
Yeah, I mean anything with Ferengi is usually pretty good.
Yeah, it's usually at the very least, it's gonna be funny, because they're just jumping around and shit and covered in fur and whatever. I'm gonna give this one 3 starships. What do you got there, Jordan?
I think I'll go over a 3 as well, mainly because I don't know. The headache section went on for a really long time.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Middle there, that one felt a little bit long, but I did like the episode overall.
Where they just keep explaining that the stuff Dr. Crusher's giving them, is just like, it doesn't give away the headache; it just removes the pain.
Yeah, she like tricks his brain into thinking there's no headache. He's like, "Oh, it's gone." She's like, "No, it's not. I just confused your brain. No big deal."
Just confusing the old brain there. All right. We got any final thoughts on this one?
If you're a Ferengi, make sure you're making profit.
Absolutely. Get your dilithium or whatever.
Get your dilithium. Get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Alrighty then. Thanks for listening, guys. This was Trek Epidemic on those Patreon. We'll see you guys next month for some more episodes. Keep subscribing. Keep giving me your money. Give me your money.